All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with Zed Daily, episode 19. I'm here with my homie Netti from Netti's Naysayers. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man.
Pretty good, pretty good. So, Netti, I wanted to start it off by asking you, how did you find Zed Run?
Ooh, TikTok. So my buddy hit me up or whatever. He's like, "Yo, did you see these people are racing these digital horses?" And I was like, "Nah, that sounds dumb as shit. Like, why am I paying to race horses on the like digitally when I could just go to the horse track around the corner from our house?" And he shows me the TikTok. I'm like, "All right." Like, I was into video games at the time, so I was like, "This is pretty cool, I guess." He's like, "Why don't we just pull our money together, like 500 each?" This is probably back in, I want to say like late June. So basically, when everything was booming and everyone was paying premiums for everything, he's like, "All right." So like, I was watching YouTube videos, and he's like, "Yeah, yeah, I was watching these budgeted ones, and you got it. We got to pull our money together, and we got to get unraced everything." I'm like, "Okay." So we buy two unraced Booterin. I think one was a 16 and one was an 18 at the time, and I think I paid 0.18 for the unraced filly, which is ridiculous now because they're going for what 0.015.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so I paid like a premium for that, and then I was like sitting on them and waiting for them to breed them, and we were like, yeah, we'll just breed them. We'll try to make some money off of it. I was like, okay, and I was like, they couldn't breed for a month, and I was like, I can't wait anymore. So I low key like raced them. They're both donkeys, absolutely horrible. So I was like, okay, we're back at ground zero or whatever. And then this is probably August, so everything is like still like everybody was coming into the game and stuff at the time. So like premiums were still crazy high. So I was like, I was good. I was like, let's refocus on something else. Let's just go and get, proven racers. So we grabbed. I put an extra probably like 2 or 3K in or whatever. So at the time, probably like an ETH ish. So I was like, let's just see what we can do with this or whatever. And we bought like two proven racers, and it's a lot more fun when like you can actually win a race rather than just sitting on unraced racers. Like that's
Right.
the fun part about it because everyone's like everyone was like breeding and trying to make money off of breeding and stuff, and like I could tell that the whole meta was kind of like shifting from breeding to racing. I mean, it's a racing game, so like I would imagine that Zed was eventually gonna be like, okay, like we're not gonna be focusing so much on breeding. So yeah, then we bought those proven racers, raced them, and then we kind of just we like now like the market's kind of crazy now. So we were thinking about hopping in and trying to grabbing some Genesis, but I don't know. I'm kind of waiting it out to see what Zed does next because I raced my proven racer all the way up to Class 1, and he's so high up in Class 1 he can't win a race anymore. So
Are you
they're on
stuck?
he's
You're
on ice.
stuck in there?
Yeah, I'm stuck. So now I'm just breeding out, just breeding him and just seeing if I can get somebody that's a lower class that actually be a good racer.
So, how did you find a good racer? Like, what win percentage, what flame rate, what were you looking for?
So I was watching that dude Tweety
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something.
Tweety Talks
Yeah,
Business.
so I was watching his YouTube videos, and he did the parameters of like 40% flame, and then like 20 paid races or something like that, or like maybe it was like 40 40 40 or something like that. And then that's how he was going through them all. And then I was watching his videos, so then I kind of picked up on that. So then I switched it up. I think I did like I didn't really care about the flame rate because there's horses that don't flame at all and they come in first place all the time. So I'm like, screw the flame rate. I bumped it down to like maybe like 15-20%. I was like, whatever. And then I changed over to like odds, and I changed the odds to like 8 or 7 or something like that. So then I was looking at these horses that really low odds, but people really weren't racing them anymore. But they grabbed like a couple low odds or whatever. So I got this one horse. It was Dame Perion or something like that for like 0.35, and she was a Booterin exclusive Z25. So at the time, this is probably like right after August, like early September. So the market was still up. So I was like, and then they announced like the tournaments and stuff. So everybody was buying racers. So I was like, let me try to get on this train and buy this exclusive. And she was like a class 5, class 4 racer. She's probably like maybe like point oh 0.08 profit, point oh 0.09 profit. So she was profitable for where she was at. And then with the whole new class points and stuff like that, like I ran her up into like this last tournament. She qualified, and then someone sniped her off the market, and I had her up for like point 0.4. So
Mm.
I was like, I ran her up, and I was just like, you know what? If someone buys it off me, like this is the only way I'm going to get rid of her, because I don't think anybody's going to buy this racer for what I paid for it in this market. So I ran her up or whatever. She was sitting at point 0.4, and like literally like maybe after I qualified, or maybe like the day after, someone just purchased her. I was like, whatever. It was an easy sale. I made some money off it. I made money with her. I think she has like 0.14 or something like that, 0.15 profit now, and she got third place in the qualify. She like made it past the quarterfinals. So whoever bought her at least made $100, and now they can spend $100 to declass her back down to class
Yeah,
5.
yeah, that'll be
Mm.
fun. Was it a U shape, a L shape? Like, what kind of shape of a horse was it
She
when
was
you
one of
got
those
it?
synthetic U's.
Synthetic U. Okay.
She yeah, she was a sprinter, so she only could win in 1000s. Somehow she came in third on the 1200 or
Mm.
whatever. I didn't even think that she would even be like. That's another reason, because I ran her up to class 2, and I was like, if she's running 1200, she ain't making it far. So I was like, I kind of hope someone buys her, but she ended up making third, so that was pretty cool for that guy whoever bought her. But yeah, so she's trash at 2400s or 2200s actually. So she would come in 12th place like all the time. So I guess when Zed did that whole thing that BG was talking about, how like the distance preference, like people that like could get easier 12ths and more first or whatever. So like whenever that happened, she literally came in 12th almost every single time in 2200,
Mm.
every single time. So like it was so easy to downclass her, and then she would win. The $255 races, and then she can grab a couple $10 races too. So like she's a good horse. It's just like tried her for the tournament. And I was just like, it's not worth it to declass her for like $50. All the way back down. I don't have the time or patience to be clicking and finding the 2200s every single time either.
Yeah, it
But
takes a
yeah,
lot of time to do that shit.
yeah, she was fun. Yeah, and then we grabbed another proven racer that don't fall apart on me. He was like a class 2 racer. He didn't have a down button really. Like his down button's 2600. So for the first tournament, I was like, screw it, we're not gonna run this dude in the tournament. Let me just grab all these 2600 free races, and I declassed him down to like right before like class 4 or whatever. And I was just doing big money pots or whatever on that. So he was winning like $50 to $25 pots on that. But then they came out with this new class points or whatever. So like every time he would win, he would just go right back up to class 2. So then I ran him for the last tournament, and then I didn't run him. In my head, I was like, I'm not gonna run him. So then I was running him a little bit, and then I wasn't doing free races, and then I was like, you know what, he actually might qualify. So then I was like, kind of like backtracking to try to qualify him, and then he missed it by like two points, 2 average points or whatever it was.
Yeah, that
So
shit's rough when you got
now
to
he's
figure
stuck.
it out, and then like you kind of got to backtrack because you realized
Hmm.
should have been doing free races or something like that. So, do
Yeah,
you?
he probably would have qualified, but it's too late now. So now, hopefully, this new class. I'm hoping that after this pity tournament, that the new class system comes out.
How do you feel about like you kind of touched on it, the current updates with classing up and the points you get for winning races, and you lose points, well, like what after seventh place or something like that. So how do you feel about that
Yeah,
update?
I mean, it's doing what it's supposed to. It's deterring people from sandbagging and D class. I guess. I mean, I haven't seen it as much, and it's made me not want to D class because I don't feel like wasting time. It's too much money to be putting in to not be getting anything back out of it. Like like it's not worth sitting there waiting for the right races, and then sometimes you win those races. You know what I mean? Or you get fourth, or you get fifth, and then you're like, okay, I'm burning through money for no reason. So like I'm just holding out hope that they come out with this new class system. I feel like they have to. I feel like after this pity tournament, I feel like they've kind of been low key hitting at the mods in the Discord chat were kind of low key hitting at that this class system's coming out. So I'm thinking that like right after this tournament, or right before the tournament starts or whatever, that they're gonna be like, yo, so like we're doing this whole new like class system, elo system, blah blah blah. They got to be close to it. There's no way they're gonna let all these horses run up to class 1 and then just like I would imagine that maybe 95% of the horses in class 1 are just sitting there. Oh, thank you.
Got a nice
Yeah.
picture.
Hey, you want it? Yeah.
Well, that's why I was thinking why they did the point like after this tournament is because a lot of horses classed up. So now all those horses that classed up that can't compete in Class 1, they're kind of giving them a shot to at least win some money in Class 1 with the pity point tournament. But I would like to see the ELO system come in sooner. But what do you think it looks like? Like, what do you think the landscape of racing looks like when we have that system?
I mean, I personally wouldn't like the ELO system, honestly, because the way that like I played like League of Legends and stuff like that. Like your ELO is based on where you're performing. You know what I mean? So you're playing with other people that are in the same exact skill group as you. So now you're gonna have all these horses that are all in the same like relatively skill rating, and they're gonna just be trading rake back and forth. That's what I don't know how they're gonna do it. So the better horses in that ELO rank between whatever are profitable because eventually you're gonna just you'll just plateau, and then you'll just be in this group of horses where you're just racing against each other all the time and just trading back and forth.
You think they'll have to do like sponsored races at that point to where they're pulling in extra money?
uh I hope so. I mean it's I don't know how they're gonna work this elo system. And then I saw like know your horses or whatever, they put out that elo ranking system. And I just don't like. I was looking at like where like everybody was kind of stacked up in that, and I was like, if these horses all keep racing against each other, people are gonna just stop racing them because they're gonna be like, well, I'm always racing against these like five certain horses, and I'm never gonna win against these ones. Is it really worth it? You know what I mean? So
And it's interesting too, because you got like Billions, Artois, and all them at like 1 and 2. But then if you go to like 200, 300, you'll see Diamonds, Princess of Power. And it's like we can win against the top guys, but we're also ranked at like 300. So these U-shaped horses, I think, if they have the ELO system that like Know Your Horses is kind of looking like, then these U-shaped horses are just going to shoot up in value because they can compete anywhere and lose anywhere.
right, right.
So how do
That,
you.
that- that's the same thing with that's like the same thing though, like with the U-shaped horses that I mean, they'll win more than they don't win, but like I guess there's still a chance that you can win against them because they'll have a bad roll, and then you'll end up beating them. But I mean, the chances of that are like not in your favor. But I guess it is. And then U-shaped horses' values went down a lot with
Mhm.
that last update or whatever. And now if they do bring back this elo system, it might be a lot better.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So, how do you tell like your friends and family about Zed Run? Like, how do you explain it to them?
Uh, I haven't explained it to them. The only one that knows is my girlfriend. So I try to explain it to her that I'm like, yeah, I just made like $150 from like this dude like breeding with my horse, and she's like, what are you? I'm like, I don't know. There wasn't $150 in my account. Now there's $150 in my account. I didn't have to do nothing about it.
Hold on, my camera cut out. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me try and get this fixed.
Pretzel.
What the hell? Okay, 1 second. Let me go to camera. What in the world did I do? All right, fuck it. We'll just keep it going.
That works for me. What's wrong? I'm gonna tell you not to do that, buddy. We good?
Hold. Actually, I think I figured out what I did.
All right.
Like 30 seconds and we'll be good.
Hmm. All right, we'll put Coco on the screen for you.
Okay. I think I got it. Let's plug back in. Let me go to display capture. What did
What? Oh, this one.
video? Hey, there we go. Okay. I'm back.
We good?
Yeah, we're good. I kicked the cord or something and I unplugged my camera.
Uh, so yeah, I don't. My girlfriend's the only one that really knows that. I kind of. Well, yeah. None of my friends know about. My friends aren't really into crypto. I guess. I guess they got into like Doge when Doge was going off like last year or whatever. So like they were kind of playing around with it, but like no one really got into NFTs like I did. And then yeah, my girlfriend knows that like I kind of race horses or whatever, but she doesn't really understand the whole concept or the capabilities of how much potential money you could make off of it. But she kind of just treats it as the same thing as me playing video games because I used to play Halo a lot. Like I used to travel and stuff for like the Halo tournaments and
Oh
stuff like
damn.
that. And then yeah, and then Halo Infinite just came out or whatever. So like it's kind of hard to find time anymore with this dude. But it now I can run Zed horses on my phone and I don't have to really worry about traveling.
That's what's nice about it, right? Is you can just pull up MetaMask on your phone while you're sitting somewhere and still hop in a race, you know?
Yeah, yeah. If they didn't have the mobile MetaMask, I don't know how much I would actually do it though, because the time consuming of trying to look for your race and your price is a lot. Like I like everybody's idea where like they just have X amount of $5 races at whatever length or whatever, and everyone just joins if they want to join that race. Because looking and waiting and staring at my screen for like 20, 30 minutes to get my exact race and the entry fee that I want is just ridiculous at this point.
So what's your exact race? Like what horses are you gonna avoid and what's the max dollar amount?
I mean, the most I've done was a $50 one time. Actually, maybe I did a $50 twice. I did a $50. I bought forgot that I bought that one racer off of that dude Kirk from Crimson Racing. I bought like an exclusive off of him or an exclusive knockoff off of him, and she was all right. And then I ran her a couple $50 races, and I really butchered her ROI. And I was like, you know what? Like, do I just sell this for less, or do I try to like build it back up? But I was just like, I was playing around with her, and I'm just like, dude, like I don't know what happened. Like, I guess it was whenever they changed that whole system. Like, she was winning a lot. And I was like, she was coming like first and seconds and thirds a lot. And then like after the class system update or like whatever update they did to like whatever they unintentionally did or whatever BG thinks that he found or whatever. Like I don't know if it really changed her, but like she started getting like fourths, fifths, and sixths. I'm like, it's not worth it anymore to race her. But I think I've only ever done like two $50 races, and like the one I won or whatever, I fell asleep. Like it was like at 3 a.m. I'm like sitting there in my bed. I'm like I'm about to pass out, and I woke up to like being up whatever the $50 first place is. I was like, that was pretty nice, and it was against like actually like decent horses in class too. So I was like, that was that. See, those are fun. Like those really get you going. Like if I was watching that, I'd be like pumped up. And then the horses that I try to avoid. I mean, I kind of just use stack nags, but like that stuff's based on speed, and like it's I don't. A lot of people talk about that they don't really care about speed, and some people care about speed. So it's kind of like weird because the horses I just bred, they're slow as shit, but like their median speed is good. So like they're always like whatever that number is. Like the first one is always like eighth, ninth, 10th or whatever, and then the median speed is always like one or two. So it's like, do I race it and just kind of hope that they come in like the middle of the pack and then they kind of just have a good run? It's like weird because like I don't know how much like the speed actually matters because I'm flaming in these races. So like the game's saying that I should podium, whatever that percentage is, that I should podium that amount of time. So I'm just like, eventually, I imagine if you just keep flaming, that you'll eventually win. But like, there's some horses that flame all the time, and they come in like ninth, 10th, and 12th or whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't know about the flame system. They gotta change that up too.
You think the horses that flame a lot and then pull ninth, 10th, and 12th are just like high variance horses, but also have high base ability?
I mean, that makes sense. Like that makes sense to me because I used for these breeds I just did. I used that dude Shady Lane's new Zedge tool. So I was trying that out while it was still free or whatever. They just changed it over to like paid or whatever. So I was like, let me get these breeds in and try use the system before they make me have to pay for this shit. So I was like, I tried it or whatever. My one horse was like their base ability was like 4.3 or whatever. Like the highest I've seen like with a good amount of data on it or whatever was a little bit higher than like five ish. So I was like, he's got good base ability. So I grabbed my horse and Shady Lane's horse, and now like the horse that we made, like it was two averages of like 4.3 and like maybe 4.6 or something like that. So like mathematically speaking, like my horse should have had a good high base ability or whatever. That if this tool actually works, and the horse that we made is actually pretty good, but it's like weird because he's good at the middle distance. So like my horse was good at the middle distances, and like everyone's saying that like the whole distance preference thing is those mid distance runners, wherever 1600 has like no distance preference. Well, this horse stinks at anything outside the middle distances. So I mean, there's got to be some type of, you know, there has to be something there with this whole like 1600s like the non-distance preference like racing, and that has something to do with base ability.
Yeah, I think if you have a good if you're flaming at 1600s, I think you have a high base ability horse. And then if you're just pulling like a lot of 12s, because this is diamonds, like flames at 1600 meters, but he can go on a streaky 10, 11, 12, but he can turn it around, also go streaky on 1, 2, and 3. But he always
Yeah, and
flames at that distance.
yeah. So that horse is a mid class runner or mid distance runner.
Mid distance, I think that's like their base abilities. That's where they're strongest. But I think horses like that can race anywhere since they have high variance. So if they get a high variance roll, then they can beat anybody.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. It's like weird because like my one horse that's stuck in class one right now. This horse is freaking weird. Like I look at his speed charts or whatever on Know Your Horses, and like his bell curve is before like everything on everything, and then his 2400 is actually his work. Like 2600 is what you have to downclass him in, but his 2400 like he can win 2400s, which is just so weird because like he's definitely like more of a sprinter, but then he flames and stuff at 1600, and then I there has to be something with like 1400s because like I feel like if you're good at 1600s, your horse is really good at 1400s too. Like I don't know if they're like 1400 specialists or something like that, but like I feel like a lot of my horses that are good at 1600 for some reason they're 1400s. They always flame at 1400 too. And I know like 1600 is supposed to be like that non-distance preference, but like I don't know. Like it's like 14 and 1600 are always. I feel like all my horses that flame at 16 flame at 14 too.
Yeah, me as well. It's like 16, 14, and 18 will be like the highest flame rate for those type of horses, and then you kind of just see it teeter off as it goes to the other spectrums.
Yeah,
So
weird.
how'd you
It's really
do?
it's
Go for it. Continue.
no. Go ahead.
So how'd you do in the Fibonacci Cup tournament?
So my one horse just didn't make it. Like I was trying my hardest to race it up or whatever. After I was like, you know what, let me just like I was thinking like maybe I'll just stay in class two because everyone else is gonna be classing up for this tournament. So I was like maybe let me just have my best horse to stay in class two. But then I was like I won like two races. I'm like I'm in fucking class one now. Like now I got a D class again. So I'm like, do I really feel like going up? Like 8 or 9 class points to then try to sit there and wait for 2600s to come around. So I'm like, you know what, let me just and then like I was like, now I'm behind the curve or whatever because I was running like weird distances because like so I was like trying to down class, but then I'm like, you know what, maybe I'll just try for the tournament. And I was like, so I was going back and forth. So then I was like in this awkward spot. I was like, let me just go for it. So then I ran so many races that my average wasn't moving enough because of how many races I was running. So like there was a point in time where I got 3 firsts in a row and I was only moving up like 4 points or whatever because I was already up to like 50 races. And I was like, it sucks because like, what's the chances of me getting 3 firsts in a row? Probably, not really that high, and especially in class one, even though they were free races. But I was like, now that I get like this false hope that I got a shot to make this. And I'm just like, I missed it by like 2 points. And then that other horse, I literally declassed it before the tournament, all the way down to 0 points, ran it up into class two. She did really well, but like I was just like, yeah, she ain't winning anything. It was nice to see her win for that guy that bought or whatever. For at least he got $100 out of it. I don't know if it was worth 0.4, but
So
it was good for him.
Are you stopping at 30 next time? Just parking it when you hit 30?
That's what I did for this tournament. I have 2 horses or whatever that are qualified at this moment. Yeah, my one horse, they're both at marathon. So for some reason, marathon is like the cut line right now is like really low or whatever. I don't know if it's like harder to get fourths or if it's just like not as easy for marathons or whatever. But my one horse was sitting at like 37, so I was like, he's gonna make it. He's got 37 points. My other one was sitting at 29 something, and today I woke up, he was at like 360, and I'm like, he's not gonna make this. Like we got a day and a half left. So I was like, you know what? Let me run one more, and I got fourth place right away. So I was like, whatever. So now I'm up to like 31, almost 32 points. I was like, I think I'll be able. I'll probably be able to make it. If not,
We lost him. We'll see if we can get him back. How to tell good base ability without this tool? Low bucks. How I would tell base ability is just 1,600 meters. If you're flame, that's personally what I would do is 1,600-meter flames. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All
My
right.
my my, bad. My son hit the space bar and completely closed out the thing.
It's all good, bro. It's all good. I think you were saying, fuck, what were you saying? You were saying that you got to 30 races and then parked it for this one.
Yeah, both my horses were parked or whatever, and then I got the one another win or whatever, so he should be able to make the qualifiers. The two horses I bred or whatever, I still got like 10 or 15 races left for them, but I wasn't really I'm not even trying for them, but they're the one horse I bred or whatever just keeps getting fourth places, so I was like whatever. Like I'm doing paid races, but if it qualifies, it qualifies. So,
Right.
but yeah, I got two horses in. I don't know about this tournament. The thing I don't like about this tournament is that you got to come in fourth place to qualify, and then you got to come in 1 through 3rd or whatever. So I bought these two horses for $60 each. The ones that I got qualified right now. I like sniped them off the market as soon as they announced the tournament. I did all these parameters or whatever to get like the exact horse I want that comes in like 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And then I was like, and then I saw people talking in Discord. They're like, well, yeah, now you got to come in 1st through 3rd or whatever after the quarterfinal or after the qualifier. I'm like, what the hell is this shit? I was like, my horse ain't gonna come in 1st or 2nd. I was like, it's all gonna be luck after this.
I think it's probably gonna
But
be
like,
a
I
lot of
understand that
people.
but I get that they can't do a tournament where fourth place has to be able to win it because like 3rd and 5th would technically be the equal. They would have to do like a best of 3 or something where like 3rd and 5th or whatever get an X amount of points and fourth place gets the most or whatever. And then like after 3 races, whoever's in the top 3 would just move on in the next round. Like that's how they could run it if they wanted to do a tournament completely based on coming in fourth place. But now you're coming in fourth place, and now I got to come in 1st or 2nd. And it's just not happening. Not with
Yeah.
these horses.
Hey, you never know. You might pull out a little streak or something. Pull out the 3 wins at the end and
Yeah, that's the only
take the
good
dub.
thing.
Get the big prize money. So if you could pick one horse in Zed Run, like any horse, you can have whatever horse you want in the game. What horse and why?
Hmm. Trying to think. I'm trying to think of a horse that really pisses me off that I always race against, and then they always beat me. That I think once his face has a really nice horse. That dude's it's solid, solid. He
Oh,
is
yep. He won the 1,000-meter
for
Redwood, the
yeah,
Netflix race. Yeah, the second one.
yes, yeah. So his horse is nice. Like, and he keeps it right there at class 2 and stuff. Like he's smart because like he's beating up on like kind of like weaker, but his horse is still good. So like his horse is just going to consistently keeps winning. This kid driving me insane.
It's all good.
But but like that horse, every time I beat that horse, I'm like really excited with my horse or whatever. Like I message him all the time. I'm like, I got to win over your. But like if you put them head to head on know your horses or whatever, my horse loses almost every single time. So that horse is nice. I like that I like the way that he races that horse because he keeps it like really profitable. And it's nice that you win a $75,000 race too.
Oh, yeah, that definitely helps.
Yeah.
So, like fair market value, if you had the money, what would you pay for that horse? Like, what would you be willing to buy that horse for?
That's a good question. In this market,
Mm-hmm.
like 10.
10 ETH.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Dude, this market's so trash. Like, I don't know how anybody's even making any sales on their horses at this point. Like, I really don't. I like it's not. It's nice for new people because you could probably like people that are kind of like tired of the game. You could probably get a really good horse, and if you got like a decent amount of ETH, you could probably do something with it. Like, you could probably convince someone to sell you like they're a really good racer because they're probably just kind of like over like the whole Zed thing. It's a good time to get in.
I,
Bad time for everybody else that's already been in it for months.
for sure, for sure. Because I got in when Z2 Legendaries scratch tickets were like 1.1, and now they're 0.4, and it's just like, damn, dude.
Man. Yeah, like I paid 0.18 for a booter in legendary. Like You know how much money? You know how much? You know what? I could buy two. I could purchase a Z3 Nakamoto Legendary now for that money. At that time, I was purchasing the best I could do was an unraced booter and legendary for that, which
So
is like crazy.
you paid 0.18. Did was that the only horse you bought? Like, what was your total initial investment?
1,000.
1,000.
So it was $1,000. Yeah, it was 500 from me and 500 from the dude that showed me it on TikTok.
So
So
if you had $1,000 in today's market, what would you go buy?
what would that be like? Point. What is it? Point.
I think that's like I
What was
think
$1,000? What is that? Point two five.
yeah, I think it's like point two something, something like that.
0.25. So if I'm buying something right now, it's like weird because it's like, do you want to go for like breeding purposes or do you want to like race it? So it's like if I was breeding, I'm probably buying. I just value the Naka market so much more because it's been moving down, but like if you're going to breed for it, you can most likely make your money back on your breed. If you breed in like a Booterin, like you're breeding and you have to breed in house and stuff, like it's just, I don't know, like you're breeding like lower quality horses when you could just breed for a little bit more or whatever. Like 0.078 or zero point zero 0.08 or whatever it is for Genesis Nakamoto isn't that bad to breed with. But I probably grab I probably grab like a Z4 Nakamoto Legendary. Maybe I don't know if I'm grabbing a male. Maybe I'm grabbing. Oh, I guess you would have to. I'm trying to figure out how you would make an like. There's yeah. I mean, I don't really value the elites either, so it's like weird because like I think I would just grab like two Nakamoto, legendary Z4 like fillies or females or whatever, and then I would just pay the breeding fee to breed with a Genesis because you can find Genesis covers now, and Nakamoto's and stuff like that. And I would probably just breed, like find something with a decent base ability or whatever on the market and just breed it down and just hope that you get like a colt after that, and then I would just continue the stable through there. But that's your best bet. I mean, I like you because then you're making exclusives. At least you're making exclusives. Like I haven't bred an elite where I was like, this elite's profitable. Like all my elites are just been like, eh. Like I don't know. Like I've seen elites that are pretty good. Somebody posted on Twitter earlier that they came in first place over I think Crimson or something like that, and it was an elite Finney or something like that.
Damn.
I think it was All Good Racing or something. I think that's his name.
I like what you said with the exclusive level because you get to hold it there, right? Like you get to keep your offspring at the exclusive level.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the smartest thing you can do is try to keep everything at the exclusive level. I don't know. I'm not the elites. Every time I breed an elite, I was just like really disappointed in what. And the elites were like I was making them with my really good horses too. So I was just like it wasn't working out. So I was like, and then these last two breeds actually were pretty nice. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just keep doing exclusives from now on. Like at least two legendaries or a legendary and a Genesis at this point, which are cheap. Good time to get in. Right now, I'd be telling everybody to get in. Put $1,000 in. You probably start off pretty. You can at least have some fun. You know what I mean? Like you're probably not making money off of breeding at all at this point
Are you
because
right now?
everybody's selling underneath the breeding fee. I mean, you could probably make if you breed right now, you could probably make like off these Nakamotos probably like 0.02. But like, is it worth waiting a month to make 0.02 when you could probably just buy a racer who could probably make you more than 0.02 in a month?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Are you seeing profits from your colts right now? Like any breeding profits at the moment? Or your stallions? Like, are you receiving stud fees?
Uh, I give rebates.
Nice.
So like I
How does that
entice
work?
people like on my last one. So I did two breeds on my own or whatever. I paid for. I don't have any mares. For some reason I sold all my females, so I had to pay someone to breed with my horse, and then I bought the offspring. So I bought two of my covers or whatever, and bought the offsprings back. And then my third one, I was like, I want to get my horse out of the stud. So I was like, I'm in like 70 different discords or whatever. So I was just messaging people or whatever, saying that I got one more cover left or whatever, and I'll give you back, point oh. I was like, I offered point oh 0.02. The dude was like, give me point oh 0.0278 or whatever. So like his breeding fee came out to point oh 0.05 exactly to breed with a Nakamoto Legendary Z3. So I was like, I get it's worth it. You know what I mean? Like if I'm giving that back, and then I'm still making like I still made like $125. So that's $125 I didn't have before. So I don't care, like I'm not trying to make money off the breeds. I would rather, other people be able to breed with more quality horses for cheaper. Like 0.078 is not bad to breed like the full cover or whatever, but like getting a little bit back like really makes people be like, you know what, I would like, even if the horse isn't as good as a Genesis horse, you're still saving, $125 or whatever, or $150 or whatever it is to breed with my horse over somebody's Genesis who's probably like their horse is a Genesis, but it could be like my base ability of my horse is worth more than I would say than like a lot of these Genesis that people value so much, especially the unraced ones. Like you don't know what you're getting off of them. Like I would rather, if I was going to go and breed with a Genesis, I'm going and looking up, making sure I could kind of calculate their base ability or whatever, and then I would pick that horse. But if not, like I would just go for a legendary, especially if someone's giving a rebate.
Do you get return business from that? Like people that continue to come back because they do get a rebate?
I haven't really yet, but my horse has only been through 2 cycles. So the first one someone took, actually my first time, my guy was a colt. So someone took my cover overnight, and I woke up to like being like up. This was before like the new breeding fees or whatever. So I was up like an extra $350. I was like, that was pretty nice. Like that was, it's nice when it's unexpected that someone picks your horse to cover with, you know. And then I was giving rebates the whole other one or whatever. So the one guy took it or whatever. His horse, he stopped racing it for a while because like he couldn't win anything. And then recently, I would say within like the past couple of days, I check in on all the horses that my horse breeds with to see like how his offsprings are doing. And he turned his horse around. Like he had like a 4% win rate. Now he's got like a 13% win rate or whatever. Like his horse he started racing it again, the middle distances. I don't know. Like I was like telling him like, it might be a sprinter. He was racing it all over the place. And then like he started flaming all the time in class 4 now. Now he's picking up wins at the middle distances. So, but yeah, almost every single one of my horses that has bred with my horse has like a 10% win rate right now. We're pretty close.
That's pretty good.
I think there's only one horse that doesn't have a 10% win rate off my horse. So, and it's after like a decent amount of races too.
So if you could change one
There's got to
thing,
be something.
you could change the odds. You can bring back, or you can take away stamina, take away odds, or bring back odds, take away flames. Change one thing in Zed Run. What are you changing?
Well, I'm definitely getting rid of flames. I don't need something that tells me exactly how good my horse is, but I need something that is going to tell me that my horse is worth at least exploring further. Like these flames, like you could have a horse that flames all the time and it could just still be shit. That's the problem. Like you could spend all this time to eventually figure out like, yeah, my horse flames, but it's still just a shit horse. You know what I mean? And then I was never around for the odds. So like everybody's like, oh, I want odds, blah blah blah. I was like, I've never been around for it. So it's like I don't value odds any more than flames because when I started or whatever, I think I started racing right when odds stopped and flames came in. So like I was like right there when everything started switching over. So I never really got to experience the whole odds thing. But what I do like odds. I do like looking at the old past odds because that's how I found one of my horses that ended up being really profitable for me. So odds would be great, but they need to like nerf it a little bit, and then I think that there's got to be like some type of discovery past like 3 races. Like you need to at least have people race like 10 or 15 times. And then you could, I don't know how they would do that system, but then you could decide that horse is just trash or that it's really good. But yeah, I don't know. Like it's hard because I'm getting classed in like class 3 right off the bat, and then you win like 2 races. Now I'm in class 2 or whatever, but like I'm winning $2.50 races. So now I'm in class 2, and now my horse. I only know of 2 races. I don't know if my horse is good or not. So now I got to race it in class 3, and then it starts losing. So then you're back down in class, 3 again. So it's like, do I run 250s? Do I run $5? And then you're all over the place, and you're spending so much money at this point, especially when before they switched everything back to 250s or whatever. Like my horses were in like class 2 or whatever, and I had to spend $5,
Mm.
you know, to figure out every single race. Like I was like, is my horse trash or is he's racing in $5 races and everybody that's good is racing in the $5 too?
So did that make that easier on your bankroll, bringing back the 250s to where you can figure out?
Yeah, like it's nice to have the 250s to be able to figure out. Yeah, they should never gotten rid of them. Like I understand why they got rid of them, but it was not good financially for people to have to spend $5 every single race to figure out if their horse was a donkey or not. That's what sucked about it. But the 250s, I guess, it's a little bit better. I mean, you could race them in free, but like the quality of competition in free races is like nothing right now, especially with the tournament going on. This tournament specifically.
With people that are
You can,
trying
if
to.
your horse isn't coming in first place in free races right now, that's how you would know. If your horse ain't coming in free races right now and everyone else is trying to come in fourth and you're racing it to figure it out and it's not coming in first, get rid of that fucking horse.
Exactly.
That horse stinks.
Exactly. Because nobody's trying to win right now. Like just like you said,
Yeah,
everybody's
no
trying
one's
to
trying
get
to win.
fourth.
And if your horse is losing, if you're coming in 12th or something like that, and everyone else is trying for fourth, put that shit back up for .015
Yeah.
or something like that. I was looking at it today. The market's down to .01. The lowest horses are going for .01 now. Crazy.
Do you
The
want to
lowest horses
see?
when I started was like .05.
Sheesh. Do you want to see like
Yeah.
a burn mechanism?
Oh, they need that. They need to do something. I think I think a lot of people had like the idea like everyone runs their donkey in a tournament or whatever, and then like whatever horse wins or whatever doesn't get burned, but the rest of the field does. I think whenever they introduce these Des tokens, whenever that happens, like there's gonna be, I think there will be. It makes more sense whenever there's like a burn mechanism for that, so you can burn your donkey horses or whatever. If it's like a Booterin, you burn it for like 5 Des or 2 Des or whatever the value of Des is at the time that makes sense or whatever. And then like if you're burning Nakamoto's because you paid so much to breed these Nakamoto's, you get more Des back. Like it makes that's what makes sense to me. That's why I think that's where they're gonna go with it. Honestly, they do need a burn mechanism because all these horses that are on the market, it's just I don't know how they're gonna turn it around without burning horses. Like I just don't. There's just way too much supply, and people are coming in the Zed Discord and stuff, and I see people being like, "I got $60. Like, what can I buy with it?" I'm like, a horse that you're gonna race 2 times, lose probably $10, and be like, "All right, I'm done with the game." When you could just save up some money, spend like $500, and honestly, you could probably get like a Booterin Legendary that is a profitable, something that wins sometimes. So you're like, "Oh, this is kind of fun." But
It's
like,
not fun when
people
you're
are
not
coming in with
winning.
like, "No."
Yeah.
It is. It used to be fun coming in 12th place when you were down classing. You know what I mean? When you're down classing and getting 4 points for it, and you're like, okay, this is fun because now you're eventually gonna get back to easier competition. But now you get 12th place. I don't really care. 'Cause if I get 7th place, I'm just as happy, I guess. It's all 2 points or minus 2 points now.
So what's your favorite partnership that Zed has announced over the past few months? Is it the NASCAR, Stella Artois, the Preakness, Atari? What's your favorite partnership?
I want them to stop partnering. Want them
Why?
to stop partnering and focus on this game. Like I'm in the Red Village and stuff like that. Like as soon as they announced that they were with them or whatever, everybody's like, "Oh my god, like they're partnering with other games and their game's not even finished, blah blah blah." But like they're just like strategic advisors on that game, so that game's gonna have less growing pains than Zed will. So hopefully they learn from all of Zed's mistakes so they can just fast track their game. But like I don't think Zed's like focusing. I don't think cares what is going on in that game specifically. Like I know that dude, everybody says that dude Chris or whatever is like a good guy and he's real serious about this game and stuff like that. But like they keep getting all these partnerships and I don't know how they're even remotely telling these partners like, oh yeah, we have this game that 97% of people are not profitable on. And the game's not finished, and then you can't join races sometimes, and sometimes you can, and the scheduling doesn't work all the time. And there's just so many issues where it's like I understand why people would not want them to focus on partnering with people. And but like I mean, the Netflix thing is cool, but like Did Netflix post anything on their website about Zed? Probably not, right? Like we just have an ad for their shit, and what they donated a couple dollars to us. And I stand by my stance that that first tournament that came off, that first Netflix tournament that came off, somebody accidentally scheduled that tournament or that race, that 75,000 one that they're like, oh, we never promoted, blah blah blah. Like I swear that they accidentally put that race out without like intention of putting that race out. That's why they never said nothing. I can't think of a way that they were like, let's not promote this huge $75,000 race. There's no way that somebody was like, you know what, we're not gonna say anything. We're just sneak it in there. Like I swear that they accidentally scheduled it in their system. Like somebody fucked up and they didn't want to admit it. And it sounds a lot better that they were just like, we're not gonna say that we promoted. We're gonna say that it's the quickest draw. But actually, we fucked up and scheduled this race. Because who runs two back-to-back $75,000 races? Like I bet you that second money that came out of that Netflix race came out of Zed's pocket too, because they're like, we fucked up the first one. Yeah, Netflix gave us money for the first one or whatever, but we're gonna just give 75,000 for the second one because we fucked up on that first one. That's what I think happened. I just can't see that they didn't promote a race like that.
Yeah,
And then they
first,
promoted the shit out of it the second time
yeah. Well, they had to,
because of all the
right?
backlash.
They had to on that second one. First time coming around, I'm not too sure what they were thinking. If they were scared of it getting botted, if they were scared of like like say if 6 of us grouped up and we all hopped in it together and agreed to split the prize pool or something. I'm not too sure
Yeah,
about like the legality. I think Archibald was saying that like there might be like some back end shit that we don't know about, but yeah, they for sure had to market it again for the second time. But if they did throw that just willy nilly in there, man,
I'm telling you
that's
that
rough.
I'm telling you somebody messed up. Someone clicked the button when they said, let's schedule this race, and they were probably messing around on shit on the back end to like get it ready to go out, and then it just went out, and they're like, oh fuck, it's live, and people already probably paid into it, so it's already on the blockchain. Like people already fucking put their entry fee, and then they couldn't fucking refund anyone, so they're like, well, fuck it, we're gonna just go with it.
Yeah, man, it was something to see. But do you want to
That was
see
a
any
bad
more?
time for Zed.
It was rough. It was
Um,
rough, but I'll tell you my story. Like, yeah, they had no marketing around that, and then so I'm just sitting, I'm chilling in Discord, and someone's like, and Kenny, he's like, yeah, yeah, we'll announce, we'll put out an announcement, like an hour before the race or something like that. You guys will put 2 and 2 together when we make the announcement. And so I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll take a nap or something. So I go to
yeah.
start to go take a nap, and someone's in Discord is like, yo, what's up with that fat prize pool in class 1? I'm like, what? And so I get up and I
Mm.
see it. I'm like, oh shit, and I hopped in there, but yeah, totally no announcements.
You were in the first one too.
Yeah, I lost my ass in the first one though.
Yeah, you came in third in the second one, right?
Yeah, third and second one, 12th in the
What was the
first
third?
one.
What was the prize pool, or what was the payout for third and the second one?
11,000.
So you made what, 5
5. Yep.
after all said and done?
Yep.
It's still nice money.
My homie gave me the
It's good
buy-in
money.
for the second one, so I had to send him back half for the second one. So maybe profited about like took home personally 2.5 and then gave the other 2.5 to my buddy, but
I mean,
it's
it's still. I mean, that's 2.5 that you didn't have.
exactly, right? Exactly. Off of
Did you
digital
think that
horse
you could have
racing
came in
though.
third place on that?
That
Did you think you had a chance of winning that with your horse?
that's why I hopped in
Yeah.
it. Like I've seen, and I hate to always say Crimson's name, but I've cooked him. Like I've cooked Crimson
Mm.
Chin. And so when I came
Yeah.
into this game, Crimson Chin is like the staple of 1,000-meter horses. So I'm like, all right, if I can beat Crimson Chin, I feel like I can beat anybody. First time,
Yeah.
and I felt comfortable doing it again because I got 12th. So I was like, that was just a bad roll on a U shape. If I run it back again, maybe I can get first. And then fucking Solid comes out of nowhere and steals my second place, so I got third. But yeah,
Yeah.
I thought I could win it personally. Yeah.
Yeah. You got balls of steel then, dude, because I don't know if I'm dropping 3 grand on a race, but I guess you're only dropping 1,500 the second time, so it's not as bad. But I can think of a lot of ways I could spend 1,500 bucks, and it's definitely not clicking like 3 buttons and signing something and just shipping it away.
It's the most. It's like I'll tell you, especially when they made it 1,000 meters. That's like the most. Like you realize why Zed Run will be big when you get into a race like that. You're like, oh shit, it gets real really quick,
Yeah.
dude.
Did you care about the distance? Like if it was a different distance where you're like, I'm not joining that.
Yeah, I didn't care. I was gonna toss it in anywhere.
Yeah,
Just
like I guess it's cool. It sucks because you're excluding. What was the first one? The first one was 1,002, right?
yep.
Yeah, it sucks because you're excluding like the marathon racers from running that. You know what I mean?
It makes
But
sense
I guess
though,
I
because
don't
if
know.
they're
I'm sure
going,
there'll be more tournament or more races.
there should be more, but it makes sense that they went with like because it was like the quick draw, fastest draw
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it kind of made
Yeah.
sense to have the fastest race, but like man, in and out, $75,000 prize pool in under a
Yeah, I
minute.
mean, it within what? How long was that race? 56 seconds or something? Because they're all probably top racers. So within a minute of it starting, you were like, okay, I'm either gonna win a couple $1,000s, or I'm gonna just completely just shit the bed and lose all my
Dude.
money.
And it's rough, man, because if you go look at all those horses in that race, a lot of them, their charts are fucked. Now, their ROI, their profitability, or not even win rate, just ROI
Yeah,
and
that's what I was thinking.
profit.
I was looking at people's stuff afterwards. I was like, yeah, like some people probably have like 800%, like 800% ROI. But then I'm like, dude, like Crimson's is probably like he ran in both, right? Or Crimson, right? The Crimson Shin ran in both,
Second
so like
one,
he
he ran in
probably
the second
fucked.
one.
Okay. Like if you ran in both and you didn't come in and you didn't place in either of them, dude, you fucked your ROI, and it sucks because like, should that really count towards your guys? I mean, like yeah, that horse lost all that money or whatever, but like his resale value, technically, like if you're smart, it shouldn't go down because they're still a good horse. It's just they didn't win two races or they didn't place in two races.
Right. It's like everybody knows Milk Bar Mania, but now Milk Bar Mania is negative because he was in both of those races, and now he's negative like point. He might actually be like broken even right now, like at like 0 point something profit. But yeah, he ran that
Did
horse had like
did
almost
he
a
buy
huge
that horse
profit.
arbitrage? Do
Yeah,
you
he
know?
bought that. Yeah, I think
So I was like, if he
unraced
bred
too.
it, that was on race.
Yeah, like
Uh,
just imagine
so
that, dude. Like he buys an unraced Z1 and it turns out to actually be like a racer too.
do you know how much he paid for that
Uh-uh.
off the top of your head? I'm curious to see how much like he would have to make back to like to have the horse paid off again because now he's in the negative. Now he invested all this money into this horse or whatever. Or have you go have a Red Bull.
Gonna be bouncing off the wall.
Yeah, well, he had coffee yesterday and he didn't. That's why he probably didn't fall asleep last night. Drives me
Uh,
insane.
that's what kept you up.
They don't have kids. They're great. They're great until you need to go to sleep. All right, you're done. Is that good? You want this one?
But all right, man. Do you got any questions for me, Nettie?
No, this was fun. I like talking, Zed. You should do something with the Red Village too.
I'm down. If you ever want to come back on and talk to Red Village too, we can do that. How much champions do you got? Same.
Uno dos.
Same.
Yeah, I was in the whitelist or whatever, and I gave that dude that's the Zed Run podcast on Twitter. He couldn't get in or whatever, and he was busy the day that they were minting like the public one. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, dude. Like I'll give you my other mint. So I'll just mint two, and you just send me the ETH or whatever. So I minted the other one for him and just shipped him one of the blood portals, and he ended up with an R3.
Ooh, oh, an
I got an
R3.
R1.
Oh, you got an R1.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, I got an R1. So I was like, if it was roles reversed, you know how fucking mad I would fucking be. And he's like, he was saying that he was happy it worked out that way, but I was like, yo, if I got a fucking R3 and I was doing the nice thing, I would have been like, you know how much difference of a money that's 0.7 difference of money right there. But
Especially if you get an undead one, it's like, damn, bro.
if I would have got an undead one, I would have sold. I don't know how people aren't selling that shit because that cosmetic stuff don't mean shit when as soon as you start fighting your champions.
How much are they going for?
But undead, I saw
Yeah.
one go for 7.7.
Sheesh.
Yeah, but they were. But I would say like if you were average on my layout, probably like 3 ETH, which is nice off of a point 0.1 mint. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have sold mine right away if I had it on undead. The only reason why I'm keeping mine is because I like the guy's name. He's not like rare. He's not like a rare armor or anything, but like I like the guy's name or whatever. And like off the off chance that I sell this thing and he's like one of the best Genesis that they have, like that I would be pissed if I sold mine for like an ETH when it could have been worth 10 ETH or 15 ETH or whatever.
No, I 100% agree. Like, I came into Zed only buying one horse, my first horse with Diamond. So like, kind of same situation. Like, when I got offers for that horse, I asked myself like, would I be okay selling potentially a top 20 horse? Like, would I be able to live with myself? And personally, no, I couldn't live with myself if I fucking sold my horse for 3 ETH and it turns out to be a 12 ETH horse. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's rough.
Well, now how much would you sell your horse for now?
I don't think I'd sell it. I don't think I'd sell it. I
You don't
mean,
think someone could come in with a? There's no price.
bro, you'd have to like, I'd have to have like a mansion, a couple. See, this is the thing.
You
Like,
think your horse is worth that much? If someone said 30
30 ETH.
ETH,
But what if we got like a 25 ETH race that I hop into, and just I win the race and keep the horse? That's my whole thing.
yeah.
Like, I turned down 10 ETH offers in the first week I had the horse. And so I was like, all right.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like
What you pay for it?
1.1.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely worth more than 1.1. You probably get like 1.5 now.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't sell him for less than 10 cuz that's what he's won like in racing profits. So he's 110.
Oh, he's up to 10 ETH in profit.
Not profit, but one. Like, the horse itself is 10, but he's profited
okay.
like 2.5.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just kind
I
of
mean,
same thing. It's like,
there's definitely a number. There has to be a number where you'd be like, this money just makes sense. Like if you're making like 500K off the transaction, you'd be stupid. It's a fucking digital horse, dude. Sell the fucking horse for 500K. You can. I'll tell you how much you can do with 500K. A lot.
okay, maybe
You can buy a fucking gal.
500K, but bro, that's a single family house where I live. Like, fucking, I live out here in Seattle, bro. Like, you could get a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. Especially now in the housing market, that shit's ridiculous. Like, you don't get nothing for 500K out here.
Seattle's really that expensive?
It's bad, dude.
That's crazy.
It's bad.
I'm in Philly, so it's just as bad here. But I bought my house 2 years ago, right before the housing market was gotten
Nice.
nuts or whatever. So I paid like 240 for mine. Mine's worth like probably like 310 now. So I got in right at the exact perfect time to. I don't know how people live. People are going to move in these houses, and then the market's going to eventually crash.
Yeah. It's gonna be sad because that's how I got into Zed Run, bro. Like, trying to buy a house last year. Housing market
so now you're
goes
just racing
insane.
horses?
Yeah, they lower interest rates. Houses out here are going for over 40K asking, 50K asking, 60K over asking. People aren't doing inspections, none of that stuff. I'm like, there's no way we're gonna be able to buy a house. I'm like, and at this time, the news about like corporations buying houses wasn't out, so we didn't know that like a lot of these LLCs were buying these houses. But yeah, we were getting outbid. Like, we would be there on the day of showing, and someone would make an offer over 40K, no inspections. I'm like, yeah, we're not doing that. So then I was like, all right, well, whatever. Like, I'll just park it in crypto, and then I had some ETH, and then I found Zed Run, and then I bought diamonds, and I was like, all right, well, like, now this is kind of my job. So if I sold the horse, I'd have to have enough money to like sustain myself and pay bills, because that's what the horse does right now. And I'd also had like,
How old are you?
21.
Oh, okay, you're like young as shit. So
Yeah. So I'm just taking risks right now, like just massive risk, fucking going all in on horse racing. And
did you go to school?
high school, but no, I never subscribed to the college ideology to where they'll give you like a 60K loan for books, but if I ask for that same loan to like house hack or something, they'd tell me to fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you, dude. Like, I'm in like 40K debt, and I was doing the math the other day. I'm gonna be 35 when I pay my loans off. I got 7 more years. Brutal. It ain't worth it. It really, and it's not worth it. And I never had to do it for my job. My parents were like, "Yo, go get your degree or whatever." But like my job, I didn't need a bachelor's. I could have just went and got my 60 credits because I'm a cop in Philly.
Okay, nice.
Unfortunately.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, you know.
But do you like do you have to do like monthly payments to pay that shit off or something? Or
yeah,
yearly
I pay 800 a month. So I basically need my horses to make me 800 a month, and then I'd be like, I really don't care about that. I went to school for 4 years for no reason.
Yeah, especially in the
But
age of YouTube. For me, man, I'm like all this information's free. Like if I want to learn something, I could learn this shit on YouTube at my own time.
yeah, I was doing stocks trading and stuff a lot before I got into Zed and like crypto and stuff. Like really got into crypto, I was doing like stocks trading. I did that for like 2 years or whatever, and I bought when the market crashed for the hell was it, COVID. I bought Tesla and Microsoft. I bought
Nice,
Tesla at like 450, like 10
nice.
shares of it. So I was like, I invested like 4,500 in it, and then when I'm a fucking idiot, I fucking sold it last August, right before they split. Do you know what a split is? You know anything about stock market?
Yeah, I remember like it was I remember hearing about this. Yes, it was like
Oh yeah, so they split. So it went from my one share went to five.
okay.
So I went from 10 shares to 50 shares or whatever, right? When they split. So then the price comes down. So it went down. Like I was worried that people were going to start selling it off or whatever, like because the price was all the way up at like 2,200. It was like 2,200 a share. So when they split or whatever, they split it for like 400 bucks or whatever. So I sold it right before the split. So I made like 20K or 20 some thousand dollars or whatever on it. If I would have kept that today and I never sold that, it's back up to like it was back up at like 1,200 or whatever. So like I would have had an extra 1,200 times 50.
That's
I don't even want to know.
all
It
right.
makes me
I won't
honestly.
tell. I won't
I'm
tell
gonna
you.
get nauseous.
That might be a Z1 or close to it or something like that.
Yeah, man. It's like roughly like I left roughly like almost 40K on the table, something close to that, after everything was all said and done. But it's like the same thing with crypto though, because like who's holding an ETH? People talk about it, like a year ago, ETH was $60. Nobody. If you had like 10 ETH for like $600, you're selling it at 100. You're
Right.
selling it at 150. You ain't waiting until 4,000. I'll tell you that right. If you're waiting until 4,000, there's something wrong with you. Like my friends that are in AMC and shit, like you know how like GameStop like went crazy, people are millionaires, blah blah, Doge, blah blah blah. Like people are still holding AMC. And they're like, oh, they're telling me it's gonna go to $1,000 a share. I'm like, mathematically, it can't. It's just not happening. I'm in SHIB, I, SHIB Army. I need people to start rallying that ship because I got a lot of money invested in it, and I'm on the verge of selling because I'm like, dude, I don't know how people just hold this shit forever and just like hoping a prayer, but like people become millionaires off this stuff. So,
I think it's a
and it's been
cult.
really,
It's a
yeah,
cult,
it's been
bro.
really recent though that like a lot of things, like I would say within the last 2 years, like you can do stupid shit
Mhm.
and make thousands and thousands of dollars, and it's
Mhm.
been way more consistently than I ever normally have had. Like hearing things on the news and stuff like that GameStop and then AMC and then Doge and then people were holding SHIB since last year. If you would have had like I don't even know like $100 in there or whatever, you would have like 20,000 now maybe for $100 investment. So like it can happen. You just gotta get lucky.
Yeah.
And there's enough dumb people in the world that probably millionaires now off this shit,
It
which is crazy to think about.
They are, but it's like yeah, it's kind of like what you're saying. It's like people that had a bored ape. Like imagine nobody's whole like who like I can't imagine anybody that minted an ape or minted a lot of them and held majority of them to this point right now. Just because like
Yeah,
I would have sold at like 1 ETH or 2 ETH, let alone fucking 40 or I would have never seen it get that high. I would have sold way back here. And
yeah,
same thing with like the
yeah,
stock market. Like for me, like that's
yeah. If you,
when if you probably never seen like this shit before, it's because my generation just got to the age where we're investing. So like we're
yeah,
investing in AMC. That was my first AMC and GameStop were my first two stocks I ever bought, ever.
yeah,
And so
yeah,
fucking bought those, bought the meme stocks just because it was fun, right? And it was like the whole Wall Street bets thing. But yeah, like
yeah. Because it was like a cult following thing. Like
exactly,
it was like being part of a community type of like
exactly.
you know.
And that's why I think the Bored Apes work perfectly because they took like the ape thing from like GameStop and AMC, and then they like made the ape kind of for the NFTs and the metaverse, and the people that made that money in that sector just rolled it right over here, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody says like we're early on NFTs and stuff like that. Like I got buddies texting me like every now and then they'll be like, "Yo, um, what about this whole like metaverse crypto shit? And I'll be like, it's catching on because like these are people that like I would never be like yeah like they would even be remotely interested in it, but like obviously like they're hearing that people are selling fucking profile pictures for fucking thousands and thousands of dollars or whatever. So you just gotta get it's kind of luck based and then like research based, and you could probably start you could flip these NFTs for a lot of money. And Zed's the only functioning one of the only functioning games where you can actively make money off of an NFT right now.
Right. Because a lot of
So
these
I don't know
other
why more.
projects, like where you make money, it's illogical, right? I think that that's why a lot of us are in Zed because we see like the logic and it's like actual real game. But if you want to make
Yeah,
money in this space, throw logic out the window. That shit does not matter. Go buy the dumbest NFT, and I bet you that thing is gonna be your 100x or 10x. But yeah, that's why we're in
yeah,
Zed Run, right? Because there's like strategy, there's theory, there's all this logical shit that makes us want to play the game. It's just we want them to
yeah,
execute on the level that they should.
yeah. I mean, yeah. That dude, I forget what his name is, Shark something or something like that. He's been he what's the stable name? Genesis Thoroughbreds or something like that. He has his own website or whatever. Shark something. Shark Rob Shark something like that or whatever. He's been in it. He was saying that he was having drinks with the guys in Australia that were like pitched the whole idea to Zed or whatever. I forget who was interviewing him or somebody. He was on somebody's thing or whatever, and he was talking about it. And he was saying that like he was been in it for like 2 years. So he was in it for like when Zed was first starting, when they didn't have nothing. And like the circles used to be like triangles on the screen. Like there was just like there was no 3D or whatever. Like people that invested all the way back then have been really rewarded. And then now like I can see like where people are frustrated because they've gone up so much in profitability off the horses that they invested in so long ago. And I'm sure like they pitched them the idea that this is a long-term investment, blah blah blah. Like you don't have to race your horses to make money off of this or whatever because your horses will go up in value. And now the market's tanking. Now your Genesis horse went from probably like at the peak time probably like 30 ETH or something. Like people were selling legendary Nakamotos for like 1.5. I've been seeing people's like price history on their Nakamotos that they're selling now, and they paid like 1 ETH or 1.2, and now they're selling them for like 0.25. It's the amount of value that has gone down. Like I don't like that's a tough pill to swallow, especially if that horse is just not a good racer or nothing. Like there's no value behind him besides just being his breed and bloodline. It's tough for people that have been in it for a while now. But
Especially if you're banking on just having a breeding stable, right? To where if they're adding the minimums and shit to where you're kind of restricted to what you can put your price to. Like these people aren't they're probably not making as much money breeding just passively like they were in August a few months back.
yeah, like I never made money off of like I never joined this game with the idea to make money off of breeding. So like I've never been really affected it like because I can't physically sit there and breed a horse like pay money to breed a horse and then put it on the market like unraced unnamed and stuff like that. Like in my head I'm like what happens if this is the next one
Right.
that's a huge winner or whatever. So I'm like and it's a rate the problem is it's a racing game and people were so mad when their breeding profitability went down. And I was just like, it's a racing game though. Like literally, you are like, I guess there's a breeding aspect of it, and people were making like a lot of money. Like I remember when Poseidon, that dude Adam, like that's how I got. I was watching his YouTube videos, and he was doing reviews of the market back in like September, and he's like, well, like if you sell it for blah blah blah, like you're still making $300. Like that's still a good amount of money. That's $300 a month, or if you have a couple of them, you can make like $1,000 a month. That was back in September or whatever, like late August, early September. But now like the profitability of half those horses that he reviewed probably went down like at least half.
Yeah, and the game changes so much from back then. If you going back and watch any old content, you'll hear people talking about like odds or flames or you got to wait three
Mm-hmm.
times for a race to fill it. So it's crazy to go back and watch those videos and to see just how much has changed in that time.
Yeah, it's not a breeding game at all anymore. It's like you either buy a horse that's really good at racing, that someone already did all the discovery for you, and then you just take that horse and do exactly what they're doing and make, you know, like if you're making, $200 or $300 a month, that's $200 or $300 times that by 12. If you could keep that up consistently, if they stop changing this fucking game so people aren't profitable anymore, you do the math. You're making like $2,400 a year. That's good money. That pays half my student loan for the year.
Yeah. Do you
But they keep changing the game, so you can't keep up with it because they're doing shit behind closed doors, and you just don't know which is, I don't know. I don't know how you don't tell people that the game, if that shit's true. I don't know.
It's gonna
They
be
got
interesting.
they got.
It'll be interesting to see how this plays out, right?
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they're gonna say about because they said they're coming out with the whatever they're coming out with the terms and conditions or whatever. I think Kenny said something about that they're coming out with BG's, you know, whatever the comms for that, and then they're coming out with like something about the terms and conditions at the same time. They were trying to make them both come out at the same time, but then they said that they'll just release BG stuff if they don't have the terms and conditions or whatever worked out. But I'm curious to see what they say and how much they say like soon in the comms, that they're like, yeah, so we'll start talking about what we changed soon, and then it'll be fucking 6 months.
Yeah.
I don't know. As long as they start making my horses better at running, that's fine with me. So far, they've done the complete opposite, so they got to switch something the fuck up.
With the current buyer's market, are you gonna go buy like any Nakamoto Z4s or something like that? Kind of upgrade your stable a little bit.
I've been looking for females because I have somehow my I don't like, without me knowing, like, I sold all my females. So now I have the problem of not being able to breed with my horses or whatever. So I'm looking for mares or whatever, but like everyone that's selling, they're the ones that are like low. People are like sending me things, and they're like I'll push in like the one to buy or whatever, like, Z2 to Z4 or whatever Nakamoto's, and they'll be like, oh, I got this horse here, blah blah blah. I'm like, and they'll be like, yeah, 0.35. I'm like, I'm not paying 0.3. The floor on this shit is at 0.16.
Yeah.
I ain't paying 0.35. Like, meet me in the middle somewhere, and let me pay like 0.22 or something like that, because it's just not. It's just like people are, and they'll be like, I've been away from Zed for a while. Like, is the market? Like, yeah, it's that fucking bad. So don't be fucking trying to at least look at the market before you send me something, because I am like, I'll pay above floor a little bit if it's like a good, decent horse that makes sense. But like there's still horses that are going for floor. I guess there's a lot of people getting on the game because there was horses that were going for floor that were like like they were decent breed, like they had like good offsprings, like two or three good offsprings. So I was looking at them, and then I would put a bid in, and then someone would just pay like the full price or whatever for them. I'm like, I don't know why you're paying 0.25 for this. The floor's at 0.26. I'm putting up 0.2. Like, I don't know why you would go. Like, eventually they're gonna be like, that dude Archibald or whatever. He put up an unraced, has one race or whatever. It's a Z3. It's up on the market right now. He put it up for 0.3, and it didn't flame in its Griffin and came in sixth, and it only raced once. And I was like, it's a filly that can breed now and then in like 5 days. So I'm like, you could breed it twice in the next week if you really wanted to. So like that brings a value, I guess. But I'm like, I'm not paying 0.3 for that shit. And then he put it up for 0.2, and I was looking at it today, and I'm like, I ain't paying 0.2 for that shit. I said, come down like to point like 7.5, and I'm like, or 1.75. I was like, all right, maybe. The market's so bad that you can get like really cheap horses, like really good, like decent, like Nakamoto's the highest, was it Bloodline
Mm-hmm.
for cheap, for cheap. But it's just crazy because when I started, I was looking at the market, and I'm like, and me and my buddy were looking at it, we're like, the only thing we can get are Booter and Legendaries.
Yeah.
For the price I paid, I could get a Genesis, almost two Booter and Genesises.
Yeah, it's
And
crazy
just
to
breed
think
them.
about. It's crazy to think about how much things can change, but it's also, I think we might be looking back in a few months and be like, damn, we had the perfect buyer's opportunity, and I think a lot of us are gonna sit on our hands for this time being.
Yeah, I mean, I'm stacking. I'm just the problem is that it's hard to keep breeding Nakamotos with how they're not expensive. They were. I was paying 0.13 or whatever, like literally like a month ago for the breeds, but like it's expensive to keep breeding Nakamotos, and to know, and if you're not breeding in house, that you're probably not getting your investment back. And if that horse sucks, you're just out that money like if you breed 3 or whatever, you're out that money. Like you're down like $1,000 or more or whatever. If you're breeding in house, you can probably at least get. I've done the numbers. You can get your money back because people will pay point oh 0.05 or whatever. And you're getting point oh 0.56 or whatever, or point oh 0.05 a little bit over point oh 0.05 or whatever if you're breeding in house for Nakamoto's, like legendaries and stuff if you're making exclusive. So you can get your money back. So I guess that's not the worst thing, but like me, I don't have any females, so
Mm.
I'm paying for people to breed. So like I gotta at least entice them to be like, yeah, let me use your like I had to like let I think I paid to use their horse or whatever. I was paying the last 2 breeds I paid point oh 0.08 for the one offspring plus the stud fee.
Mm.
So it's like point 13 or yeah, 0.13 or whatever. So I don't know. If I make like I probably could sell the horse for probably like point oh 0.07, but I'm still losing. I'm losing like half every time. So it's like it's hard to keep breeding Nakamoto's when you could technically just I guess just keep breeding like shit Booterins for like $60. If you have Genesis's, what is that like $60 a breed,
Mm-hmm.
something like that? Because if you're breeding in house, it's like $60. I think it's like 120 is like the max. It's a little like 60, like a little bit more than $60, and you could probably with the bots get like $40 back. So you're only losing $20 per breed if the horse is trash, which it's hard to make a booter, and that's not that's nice.
You gonna go cop a mare, or you gonna keep on doing rebates?
I might just keep doing rebates until I have enough to buy a really good mare. I don't know. Like everyone's doing rebates now though. Like when I did it last cycle, so it was a month ago or whatever. Like they were like I've seen a couple people post them or whatever, but I was like, you know what? Everyone's like posting like I'll give you like 10% back. I'm like, what the fuck does 10% do for people? So I was like, let me do like 35%. So I was giving like 35% back. And then I was like, I'm still not getting. And then I was like, for this one, I was like, I'm still not getting any covers. So I was like, let me give like 50% back. I went for the last breed to get my last breed done last cycle. I think I did 70% back.
Mm.
So I made like 50, like it was, but I made $50. So it's like either wait the 7 days and not get a cover or make $50. I was like, I'll take $50. $50 is $50. That's $50 I didn't have. So yeah, it sucks when you have to pay for rebates for these studs or these covers, but it's people don't realize that it's money that you didn't have anyway, and nobody's getting covers. So
Good point.
like, what's the point of cover? Why would you pick my horse over a Genesis for what? What is it? Point oh 0.02 more? 0.02? I think it's like point oh 0.08 for a Genesis.
You got anything else, man?
No, I think I did enough bitching for today.
No, that was good. I think that was a good conversation. Where can people follow you at and contact you at, Nettie?
Ooh. So my at on Twitter is underscore Brunetti. I want to say that the last one is an L because somebody took the I. So I think
Mm.
the last letter is an L instead of an I. And then I'm always on the I'm a lot I'm in Zed General a lot or whatever. I'm just Netty on Discord, so you'll probably see me in there every now and then bitching about something.
Cool. And where'd you get Nettie's Naysayers from?
Well, my last name's Brunetti, so and then I went with the kind of horse name or whatever. I don't remember. My stable name before was like something. I think it was like to the moon or something like that. And I was like, I sound like such an AMC stocks fan. I was like, nah, like let's switch this up. So I was just like, what can I do with my name and like horses? So that's how I kind of came up with the name, and I just kept it since for now.
Cool, man. Well, sweet. I think that was a great conversation. There's a lot for people to learn, and thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yep. Have a good day, bro.
Later.